Hi, welcome back to Toddle In. It's Wednesday afternoon. I guess that really doesn't matter to you what day it is, but it's Wednesday afternoon and April the 7th. This morning, I went to the BC Farm Museum in beautiful downtown Fort Langley, British Columbia. If you have been to Fort Langley, you know what I'm talking about. It's a boutique, small community, but it's a major attraction for consumers all around the Lower Mainland, even visitors to the province of British Columbia. But my goal this morning was to show you the RV park in Fort Langley and then take you over to the BC Farm Museum, one of my favorite locations. They are one of the best museums in the Lower Mainland that features artifacts, machinery, household goods from British Columbia's early farming days. There we'll talk to George, and George has a unique story. We'll meet Mike, and Mike is a volunteer, so is George. And then I've got another special guest that I'll introduce you to in the upcoming video. And in one of my previous videos, I talked about my 1946 Farmall M tractor. I've got a real passion for red tractors. It's a disease. It's in the blood. But I've restored 10 Farmall tractors since 1996. And I've got a real connection with Farmall tractors from my youth on our small farm in southern Ontario, north of London, in an area of Middlesex County called Lobo Township. And we had all red power on the farm, little a, big M. And so over the years, after I left my career, I wanted to get into restoring old Farmall tractors. I located a bunch and I had fun. I've shipped them after I've restored them to Alaska, to the very tip of Lake Superior, Duluth, Minnesota, and down in New Rochelle, New York. One of my tractors, a 1963 International B414 diesel, just a beautiful little tractor. But in any event, I had bought a 1946 Farmall last year, an M, the big tractor, and I restored it, and it just needed a few cosmetic things done. And after a while, my wife and I were talking about maybe we should see if the Farm Museum in Fort Langley would be interested in adding this to their collection. Well, it turns out they were, and they came and picked the tractor up, and they wanted to repaint the rims. So I went and visited the tractor there this morning, but and I'll bring you that in this video. So in Fort Langley is a great destination if you're traveling around the province of British Columbia, or you're coming into British Columbia when the borders open up. Make sure you mark on your calendar at some point a visit to Fort Langley, about 45 minutes, 50 minutes east of Vancouver. And when you're there, you can pull your RV, any size rig, into the Fort RV Park. I'll show you that. I'll take you on a little tour with that. And then you can walk over to the BC Farm Museum. There's lots to do and see in and around Fort Langley. So we are on our way. do is I'll take a drive through the downtown core of Fort Langley, and then I want to show you the RV park in Fort Langley. So whether you've got a Class A, a Class C, or a big Super C, or a camper van, and I do believe they offer tenting and a variety of trailers, whether it's a fifth wheel or a pull behind. The Fort Camping offer a lot of amenities. So I'll try and grab a brochure if there's someone at the front gate. But we're going through downtown Fort Langley, still residential on this part. I'm not sure what the population of Fort Langley is. It's not in the thousands, but it's expensive. The homes here are very expensive. As soon as one goes on the market, they're snapped up right away, and people love the peaceful, calm area and the historic value as well. There's the federal government of Canada have got a huge historic fort. Oh, that's why it's called Fort Langley. And they've always got events and family events there, and it played a very significant role, Fort Langley, in the development of this part of the province of British Columbia. Little activity downtown. Lots of movies are shot here. In fact, if you look to the right, you'll see the backdrop of a movie set being built. Oh, I know we just passed the Fort Langley Community Hall. That building's been painted, I'll bet, 50 times. But there's another movie being shot here in Fort Langley. There's one of my favorite spots when I'm riding my motorcycle. It's the 50s Cafe, Planet Java 50s. So this is really the business section of Fort Langley. Cross over this little bridge coming out of the downtown section of Fort Langley, and the campground, as you can see, lots of room for any size rig you've got. And up on the left is the entrance to the Fort Camping Ground, and there's a little bit of a beach area, sandy beach area along the water, and ahead of us, about a quarter of a mile, is the mighty Fraser River. But they've got it blocked off now during this COVID. It's also, we're on First Nations land here. So, as you can see, it's been a while since I've been here. It's called Bray Island Regional Park, Fort Camping. So, lots of room to pull your rig in. So I don't have a pass, and there's the check-in, and I will stop here to see if I can get some information and what their rates are. Welcome to Fort Camping. All campers and visitors, please register here. Please have your license plate number, ID ready when registering. Free parking in front of the parking area. Please display valid permits on your vehicle dash. So I'm looking in the check-in, and there doesn't seem to be any activity in there. Check-in time is 1 p.m., check-out 11 a.m., and it looks like there are some full-timers here. And a lot of travelers.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm at the BC Farm Museum, and as you know, this is one of my favorite locations around the Lower Mainland in Fort Langley. And this morning, I'm fortunate enough to have met our old dear friend George, who is a volunteer along with his wonderful wife Grace here at the museum. George, how many years have you been here now?
25 or 26 years.
That's amazing.
So
that's an incredible, as a volunteer.
Yeah.
So you really know the workings of the museum.
Most of the stuff, but there's always new stuff coming in. And whatever you see in the museum, it's all donated. It's not bought. So when you see some of the artifacts and you think, where does it come from? But it's, it's all donated. And but here in front of it, we got tulips. That was supposed to be meant for last year, the 75th of the anniversary of Holland and Europe. That was the last days, and I can remember some of that when it was done in 1945.
So you were just a young lad in the Netherlands.
Yeah. So, and matter of fact, the 10th of May, we walked for 13 kilometers to feed somebody who used to come over at our farm to get food. That's, and so I do remember a little bit of that.
So did you plant these tulips,
No,
George?
I didn't.
Who planted the tulips?
I think Sid did. Sid Pickerel.
Yeah.
So he planted these, and I forget where they came from. I think from Ontario, if I'm not mistaken. So
they were planted in remembering what happened in the Netherlands 75 years ago when the Netherlands was liberated.
Liberated, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
Right. And how old would you have been in 1945, George?
8.
8 years old.
Yeah.
And when did you immigrate to Canada?
1956.
And you and your family had a farm in what region of the Netherlands?
The northern part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you were telling me a story about you had plans and COVID got in the way of going to Holland to celebrate the 75th anniversary.
Well, it didn't happen because COVID came in the way, and that was the end of it. So we got most of our money back from the airlines, and so I never did go.
So your plans are on hold. Do you and Grace plan to pick that trip up sometime in the near future when we can all travel again?
Yeah, you never know.
Great. Well,
anyway,
what a beautiful bed of tulips, and to you it even holds a greater meaning.
Yeah, that's right. That I remember. Matter of fact, I remember 10th and the 13th of May when I went into Groningen and I saw the buildings bombed, and my brother and myself, we went for a walk early in the morning, and we did see the Canadian troops parading through the town to a park. And I still remember, well, they showed some instruments there which they were playing, and it sounded like a bunch of cats, not knowing what it was. And then I still remember who was singing there, and then I'll leave that to the imagination
of the viewers.
But she turned to be 100, and the girl that sang, I think she was 101 before she died last year.
Can you share with us who that was?
Well, I think I'll leave that to the imagination and see if somebody can figure that out.
Okay, that's great.
So
that's wonderful.
Anyway.
That is exactly what you see. It's a two-headed calf donated by Mrs. Bernice Young. She was born in Brooks, Alberta, southeast of Calgary. Or the calf was, and it lived for 3 weeks. What an unusual display. A two-headed calf. Okay, Mike.
Yes.
So we looked at a Model TT. So the second T stands for truck.
Truck, Model T truck.
But you also mentioned this was a Model T truck.
This is a Model T that came, a car actually, so it's just a Model T. It came in either the car kit or a tractor kit, which is different wheels, more comfy seating area, and then it's been converted again to drop a plow on the front.
How long have you been a volunteer here, Mike?
3.5 years. Yeah.
How do you like it?
Love it.
You like meeting the public and
Yes, I do. Actually, I first came here August, 3 years ago. They have a train day, model train day. So I've been to trains, so I came to look at that. I ended up helping them set up. And then that weekend was also the August stat holiday.
Right.
So I ended up helping in here. And that's it. I've come every Monday and pretty much every Wednesday ever since.
That's wonderful. Can I ask, are you retired?
I'm retired. Been retired a few years now, yeah.
What a wonderful way to kind of give back to the community.
Oh, it's great. The funny thing is, I was into aircraft. All my career was on aircraft.
You mentioned something about the jacket you're wearing.
Yeah, old CPA jacket, just to keep the chill off. We've had new heaters put in, so it's not quite as cold as it used to be.
What a wonderful airline CPR was.
Wasn't it ever? And then Canadian Airlines after that.
Yeah, another first-class operation.
Yeah, and then, I'm not supposed to say that, sorry, but Air Canada just drove them into the ground, and then the government bailed them out again. That was terrible. That was terrible.
So with your aircraft knowledge, can you tell me about this Moth? Is that a Moth?
This is the forerunner of Conair BC out at Abbotsford. This was Art Seller. Bought this aeroplane and used it as a trainer for training people. Then he noticed that the Americans were coming up and they were crop spraying. And he was standing there watching bundles of money being handed over to them. So he converted this one to a crop sprayer. And then a few years later, realized that water bombing would be a really good idea. So he split between Flying Skull and water bombing, which is the forerunner of Conair. He sold the Conair operation to his partner, and I've forgotten his name, I'm sorry. And he continued with his Flying Skull for a little bit longer, then he retired. So Art Seller's the original Conair guy.
Okay, so all the
information I've just given you is all in writing on our webpage. It was taken from a magazine. Got permission to post it on, and it's all the information's there.
What's the webpage address?
Oh, bcfarmmuseum.com.
Oh.
bcfm.com.
Oh, it's easy enough.
Yeah.
Great. So there's a plaque. BC Farm Museum, officially opened by Sir Robert Billinger, Lord Mayor of London, England, November 19th, 1966.
Correct.
And the board of directors at that time?
This is the very, very first artifact that was donated to BC Farm Museum before it was the BC Farm Museum. Mr. Coleman was a champion ploughman. There's a picture of him right there. And his family, Coleman family of Ladner, donated his plough to the UBC. UBC professors, whoever was in charge of the agriculture at the time, decided that having an agricultural museum would be an amazing thing, but where would they put it? It took them many years, from 53 to 66, before this building finally was erected and opened. So it's because of this little guy that all this has happened. So we're going to make a really nice display out of it, from the edge of this board down to as big as this takes, and we'll have posters, and it'll be a nice display.
Well, there it is, 1946 Farmall M. And I featured this tractor in a previous video here on YouTube. And as you know, International Harvester, or from the McCormick Farmall side, built roughly 250,000 M's, and they came in a variety of models. There was the M, the Super M, the MDA, the M with the TA, the torque amplifier. However, there's a great story. If you look at one of my earlier videos on this tractor, it is now in the possession of the BC Farm Museum here in beautiful Fort Langley. And I want you to meet my new friend, Wally.
Hi.
Wally was kind enough to accept our offer when we decided we'd like to donate this tractor to the museum. Wally came by our place, had a look at it, and said yes, that they would take it. And he has since got his crew to do some more restoration on this tractor. And Wally, it's nice to meet you again.
Yes.
And during these times of COVID, it's a bit of a challenge, but I see your volunteers have been busy here at the museum.
Yes, we have been very busy. We've had one of the busiest winter in the many years that I've been here. We've restored a number of things, a 1921 or 23 Ford tractor, and we brought this Farmall M down. We acquired it a number of months ago, but it stood up in the building up on top. So we brought it down and had a look at it, and we decided it was one of the rare Model M's around BC or in the valley here. So we thought we would do a major repair, and I shouldn't say a major repair, just a touch-up, and this is why it's down here. The wheels are off of it. They're we're sandblasted. We can go in and have a look at them yet. But I spent many hours on one of these, plowing and disking and doing fill work. Many cold nights, but I will never forget the Farmall M. It was kind of special. I bought it used, the one that I had, I bought it used. It worked in a mill in New Westminster, and it was in pretty bad shape when I acquired it. I rebuilt it completely, a motor, the metal work on it, and later traded it off on a 300 International or Farmall diesel. So that was it. But we can go and look at the wheels. I think that would be an interest.
Now, did the 300 replace the H or the M, Wally?
The H.
Okay, and it was the 400?
There was then it became a 400, and then then they became the 450s.
All right.
And they became 350s.
Right.
Yeah.
So the 450 would have been like a Super M at that time?
Then the Super M faded out. There was no more. It was a 400 and then became a 450 gas, and also they had a 450 diesel, the same as
the MD?
The MD, yes.
Was there a bump in horsepower when they went to the 400?
I don't think so, but it changed to the diesel engine.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, let's have a look at the wheels.
Yeah. We just restored this completely.
What a beautiful looking little Massey.
You know, it came out of the weeds. It's had, it was in the weeds, but they had a plywood canopy over it, and the plywood had just deteriorated, and so we have a body man here, and like if he can't do it,
It can't be
his
done.
way, he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, it can't be done. If he can't do it, it can't be done. These were a popular little tractor, the Massey 35. And as you'll know, it's the right color. It's red. Red is the fastest color. I think Wally might agree.
I don't know how far Becky's got it. Oh, here's the,
Oh, wow.
the clamps.
Yeah. The clamps off the wheels.
Yeah.
Hey, that's putting an old iron board to good use.
That's right.
It's portable, and you can paint on it, and who cares what color it turns out. Wow, look at the rims. Wow, I see you've even done the pan.
Oh yeah, everything.
Everything, wow. What a difference.
Yeah.
This really gives you a good idea. When these tires and the rims are on the tractor, they look big, but seeing them stand alone solo here now, they are actually a big rim and tire for its time.
That's right.
Yeah, wow. That's beautiful.
You know,
No,
like I was born and raised on basically on the tractors. You know, at 10 years old, I was out middle of the night plowing and stuff. You know, I mean,
those are great memories, aren't they?
you know, the greatest day.
You can still feel the heat coming off that tractor at night plowing, I'll bet.
Yes.
That was with no heat houser on it?
No heat housing. No, that came many years later. Yeah,
For those who don't know what a heat houser is,
yeah.
it's a
It's a canvas that comes there, and it takes your heat from your rad, and it brings it and warms you.
yep, takes you right to the operator station.
Yeah.
And there was a bit of a up above the windshield, or pardon me, up above the steering wheel, there was a bit of a curve with a small piece of plastic
Yeah.
that you could look through. But that heat was well appreciated during those fall cold evenings out plowing, trying to beat the winter storms and the rains.
Yeah, you go out there, and I'll tell you, at night it got cold, and then you had the big coat on, I'll tell you.
Mike, I want to thank you for letting me tour the museum. As you know, it's one of my favorite locations in all of the Lower Mainland. There's so much history here, but in particular, it wouldn't be here if it wasn't for volunteers like you. So thank you very much for your time and for showing me around some of the displays, and I look forward to coming back again.
Oh, you're welcome. And anybody watching, if you're in BC, in the Lower Mainland, and near Fort Langley, you definitely got to drop by the BC Farm Museum. Wonderful place to see.